천자문,
千字文
千字文
In this lesson, we will look at characters 537 through 544 of the 1000 character classic, the 1500-year-old Chinese classic in which no characters are repeated. The Duke of Zhou established his dwelling in Qufu.
엄대곡부,
円卓曲阜
奄宅曲阜
Without Dan, who would have brought things into balance?
미단수경,
微旦孰営
微旦孰营
Let's look at line 135. I'll offer an English translation character by character. Cover, settle. Dwell, reside. Melody, curve, a name. Hill, mound, a name. The latter two characters are referring to a specific place named Qufu, a place of historical importance which still exists today.
曲阜市曲阜市
Together, this line can be translated as, the Duke of Zhou established his dwelling in Qufu. Let's hear it pronounced. You'll hear it from recording in Korean, Japanese, and Chinese.
엄대곡부,
円卓曲阜
奄宅曲阜
On to line 136, character by character. Tiny, subtle, without. Dawn, a name. Who. Plan, manage. Together they can be translated as, without Dan, who would have brought things into balance?
미단수경,
微旦孰営
微旦孰营
Let's look at the composition of the characters. Starting with 537, ideogrammic compound. You got big on the top and extend below. Then 538, it's a phonosemantic compound, the roof radical on top and a phonetic element on the bottom. And 539, apparently it's an ideogram meaning bent object. Look here at the historical forms. So this is the standalone character of the hill radical. As a radical, you'll see it like this when used on the left. If that appears as a radical on the right, it's actually a different radical, and it doesn't refer to this 540th character. Confusing, I know. So on to 541. I've read some explanation about the etymology of this character, but I find it confusing. So simply it's one that I just have to memorize without any kind of trick or mnemonic. The middle component gets written differently in Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and traditional Chinese. So have a look at the screen and you can sort of study that middle component and see how it is written differently. On to 542nd character, and this one is most easily thought of as the sun appearing over the horizon. And since it means dawn, that picture is quite fitting. The 543rd character, so starting with the right side, you can see the character for circle or round. So link that with the sun that you just saw in the previous character. Then the left side of the component also appears in 675. Also note that this character here is itself a component in the 666th character of the classic. So finally, the 544th character here. Have a look at this rare character. I'll put it on the screen. It means luminous. Now look at the top component with the two fires together. Other characters in the classic with this top component are these. And also here are a few others not in the classic, which have that component. So remember the palace character for, character 416? Well, here imagine that inner component of the palace character to be the structured interior rooms, in this case with the fire above. So basically, picture those rooms to represent the tents and the fire to keep the the campsite illuminated. This character does, after all, have an historical meaning of camp or encampments, even though nowadays it's more used in connection with planning or management. But obviously, camping did need a lot of planning and management. So based on the 8 characters of these 2 lines, I've come up with a word list. I've tried to select words that are common and relevant to Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. Now you'll hear the words spoken in each language. Residence,
주택,
住宅、
住宅、
delivery service,
택배,
宅配、
宅配、
opera,
희곡,
戯曲、
戏曲、
curve,
곡선,
曲線、
曲线、
smile,
미소,
微笑、
微笑、
subtle,
미묘,
微妙、
微妙、
New Year's Day,
원단,
元旦、
元旦、
business,
영업,
営業、
营业、
management,
경영,
経営、
经营。
Have a look one more time at the words of this lesson. See which ones you remember. Okay, let's move on. Now I'll take one more look at each of the characters and offer a few additional notes for each character. I'll also give each character a rating. A rating of 5 suggests the character is common and essential. A rating of 1 suggests the character could be obsolete. So this one is rare. It means to occupy. It has been used poetically, like here, which was translated as to hold sway over all under heaven. It's part of the name of a scenic island, Amami Oshima. That's an island south of Kyushu and north of Okinawa in Japan. So this one relates to housing, such as one's residence, or also appears in words related to home delivery. In modern times, this is part of the word for homebody, in Chinese. And the well-known Japanese subcultural term, otaku, uses this character. So this one means melody or curve. It appears in place names with winding terrain or rivers. Here is a common Chinese word, which means tune. And this is part of the word for melody in all of these languages. And this character meaning hill or mound. And those man-made earthen mounds could be symbolic of settlement and civilization. And this character is rarely used in Japan or Korea, but it does appear in the name of a Japanese prefecture, Gifu. So this one is part of the words for both smile and subtle. Thus, it reminds me of the subtle smile of the Mona Lisa. And I think it's associated with tech because this character is similar to micro, as in small. And micro often appears in tech language. And this is also part of a common Korean word, misemonji, and that refers to the fine dust air pollution that plagues Korea in the winter and spring. And this is part of the word for New Year's Day. And, picture the rising sun, the first sunrise of the new year. And though it's a simple character, its usage is not that common. One interesting usage in Japanese is that it's part of the word for dana, meaning master of a house. And I'm not sure why this character took on that meaning. And this one means who, And here's famous moral saying from the Confucian Analects, which could be translated as, who can be without fault? In modern times, this character for who has essentially been replaced by this character here, and that character also appears in the 1000 Classic. And this one is frequently used in words related to management or operating a business, but this character has military origins, appearing in numerous words related to military, such as camp or battalion. That's a wrap for this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll hear of another duke who was known for supporting the weak and fallen.
천자문,
센지문,
千字文
As always, I remind you that I make these videos partly for my own study purposes. My skills are not advanced in these languages, so it's quite likely I've made some mistakes or forgotten something obvious. If you do notice something or have a question, let me know in the comments. The goal of this channel is to make a video for each line of the 1000 Character Classic, while using this classic as a lens to explore language study methods and connections between the Chinese, Japanese, and Korean languages. I wish you happy and productive language studies.